sound, speed, background action, action.
Bernard Gazarowski.
Layla Petit.
Okay, I always like telling this story. About 30 years ago or so, in Port Richmond, back in the days where the Big Four lottery only came out on Saturday nights. It may have been Wednesdays and Saturdays. So I used to go and play my address every Saturday, 3165, and then I'm in this little corner store and I'm in line, and there's a few people in front of me, and outside the glass door there's a gentleman, I don't know, in his 40s or so, with a little boy, probably around 8, 10 years old the most, and they had something in their hand, so as people were coming out of the store, he was basically showing them something. I figured, well, it's probably one of those guys trying to sell you a watch or something of that nature. So I finally get out there, and he calls me over, and he has a little piece of paper, and it says food marked, M-A-R-T. And I said, do you want the fruit market up the street or the Acme down this way? And he said, no English, Italian. And I said, well, do you want oranges or apples? And he says, no English, Italian. So this went on for just, like a few minutes of back and forth, and we're trying to communicate. So I looked down at his son and I said, do you understand what I'm saying? And he just stared up at me. So we're still standing there, and then the next thing you know, the father starts talking to the son. And I go, they're talking Polish. I understand Polish. Huh? I said, Pan rozumie po polsku? Po polsku, rozumie po polsku. So anyway, he's basically, I asked him, do you understand Polish? He says, Polish, I understand Polish. So anyway, they were looking for the Acme, so I directed them to the Acme. So later on, I asked my dad about that, and he said that after the war, there were many Italians who moved to Poland. So therefore, if the Italian gentleman, his first language is Italian, second language is Polish. Now I'm sure his son probably said, Dad, don't speak Italian, speak Polish. So that's the way they communicated. So that's the end of that story.
Names again, please?
Bernard Gazarowski.
Layla Petit.
Now, I was asleep at the switch, so I should have let Layla tell her story first, and you all were too polite to point it out. But we'll keep rolling, and Layla, go ahead.
Okay. So I always had this weird relationship with swimming. I don't know how it started. I remember being younger, and me and my friends, we would go to the public pools, and it would be fun. I would pretend swim. I could pretend I would freestyle and pretend I would do back. I was in the water and loving it. But some point in my childhood, I started watching a lot of movies where people die in water. So it was like Titanic, and then I watched Deep Blue Sea where people got ate by sharks. And so water was just really not something I just wanted to get into. I didn't have any interest in getting on a boat or anything. I was like, it's not a shower. I don't really need to be in the water. So my 10th birthday, my grandmother, she gets me tickets to Dorney Park. So Dorney Park is like a water park and a regular amusement park. So I'm like, yes, oh my God, I'm so happy. I'm going to Dorney Park. I'm going with my cousins and then some other friends of the family. So we take a bus there because there's a lot of people going. We get to Dorney Park. We get on the rides. It's so much fun. And then my cousin's like, oh, let's get on one of the water rides. And I'm like, okay. I mean, if I get splashed in the face, that's cool. But if I have to be submerged in water, then I'll just stand back here and let you do your thing. So we get in, so we go to this, it's the lazy river. So you get in the little donut and you go around the lazy river. And I'm like, okay, that looks safe. Nobody looks like they're dying. Nobody looks like they have to swim. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna get in the little donut. So I get in the donut and everything is going fine. And all of a sudden, I have a panic attack in the water. I don't know where it came from, but somehow, I don't know what scared me, but I managed to flip myself out of the donut into the water. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm done. like the corner of my eye, I see like the lifeguard, and he's just standing there, and he's just looking at me like, help me, help me. So he takes the little rod, and he's like, come on, come on. So I'm like grabbing. I can't breathe, I can't breathe. And he's like, stand up. So I like put my feet down. I'm like, oh, you know, the water's like right here, like I'm a mid-thigh. I'm like, okay, thank you, sir, thank you. So I take my little donut and I like walk to the end of the ride, and that was the end of that. I don't think I got onto another water ride for another 10 years. I did eventually learn how to swim, but yeah, that is my story.
And names, please?
Layla Khatib.
Bernard Gazarovski.
Changing chairs. And this time, we'll do it right. And Bernard, you do your second one, please.
Okay, I'm trying to think which one I'm going to go with here. Bernard Gazarovski.
Layla Khatib.
I was a teacher for the past 17 years of my working life, I guess you can call it, before I retired a few years ago. But the sixth graders, we would always go up to a place called Pete, which is up there in, somewhere near the Poconos. And I remember the first time I went there, it was like, I'll never come back here again. Anyway, after being there a day or two, I fell in love with the place. So, now the last time I was there was a few years ago. We have what's known as a 3-mile hike up to a trail known as Tumbling Waters. So there we are hiking along, and then you get to this point where there's a waterfall, and then now you start going up higher and higher and higher, and you're up at this point where if you look over, you can actually see New Jersey, the river. The Delaware River is down there. It's near the Delaware River water gap. So anyway, by the time we got up there, it's like, boy, I'm feeling like something's not right. So, we usually rest there anyway. So I sat down and splashed some water in my head, and then, then it's time to move on, and then we're moving along, and I'm still feeling faint, and I'm thinking, what the heck is going on here? And I'm too embarrassed to say anything. So we went on, and then the next thing you know, we're at the end of the trail, so I went back to the cabin, and I thought, well, maybe I just need some salt or something, so I, ate some peanuts with a lot of salt on it. Felt a little bit better. Maybe I need something to drink, had some water, had some Diet Pepsi. Still wasn't quite feeling right, so I said, well, I guess I'll just go to the nurse. So I went to the nurse. She's trying to take my blood pressure. She can't get a reading. And so then she says, well, we better call the paramedics. And so the next thing you know, now there goes the ambulance, and I'm thinking, oh boy, what are the kids thinking now? Here goes Mr. Gazarovski there. What's going on, Mr. Gazarovski? So anyway, they tried to get a reading, and they finally did get a reading, and my heart rate was going around 180 beats per minute, and it wouldn't stop. So that was the whole thing. So in the ambulance we go, and heading toward the hospital, and they have the monitors on, and my heart is still beating, and it's still beating, and then paramedics, she says to me, listen, I'm going to give you a shot of something here, and what's going to happen is your heart is going to stop for a brief minute, and then it's going to start again. So, I'm thinking, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? And it's really, really going to hurt your chest. I said, oh man, so she gives me this shot. I didn't feel anything. I said, I don't feel anything. So anyway, probably about 5 minutes later, all of a sudden my heart rate started going down. So I go to the hospital, they check me out, they can't find out what's wrong with me, etc. So I started, I was seeing a cardiologist at that time. And, just to make a long story short, I had something in there that's basically, the best way to look at it was like a short circuit. So there was something, when my heart rate would go up, it would not cut down. So anyway, went and had catheterization, which once again, it's like, you're going to do what to me? You're going to take tubes and put them up and all this? So anyway, they were able to zap the thing, and I've been fine ever since.
And names again, please.
Bernard Gazarovski.
Layla Khatib. Okay, so going back into time again. So one time my mom, out of nowhere, she says, we're going on a road trip. So little little did I know she actually meant we were moving to the West Coast, but she told me it was a road trip. So I'm like, okay, yeah, let's go. So we pack our stuff, we're ready to go. She decides to take a Greyhound cross country. You know, she didn't want to fly. So we take Greyhound, and mind you, we're going all the way to Los Angeles. So that's like 3 days on the Greyhound, which you can imagine is pretty terrible. But as a kid, you're happy, and you know, we're riding through Ohio and Missouri, and I made a friend on the bus, and we used to like see each other through the corners, and I would pass her my magazine, and she would pass it back or something like that. So somehow we get to Oklahoma, but I didn't realize we were in Oklahoma, so I was sleeping, and you know, the driver makes an announcement like, okay everybody, we're gonna make a pit stop here. So I look up and it says Miami. And I'm like, we're in Miami? How did we get in Miami? I thought we were going to Los Angeles. And my mom was like, yeah, how did we get in Miami? So she goes to the bus driver and she says, sir, where are we exactly? He says, we're in Miami, Oklahoma. He said, yes, it's spelled Miami, but it's pronounced Miami. And so we're like, oh, okay, that's interesting. So we get off the bus, we go to the bathroom. Now my mom, she's taking a little long in the bathroom, but you know, when you're on the bus for a while, sometimes you have to go a little longer than usual. So we come outside, and right in the distance, we see the Greyhound bus pulling away. And I was like, no, don't leave us here. So we're in Oklahoma, the smallest town in America, in Miami. And so we run into like this little 7-Eleven. It wasn't even really a 7-Eleven. It was just like a mart. So we run in and we're like, oh my God, the Greyhound bus pulled off. Well, lucky for us, these were like the nicest people you could probably ever meet. They were like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Here, we're going to call Greyhound for you, and we're going to see if we can do something for you. And even one guy, he came into the store, some random guy, and the clerk is explaining to him what happened. Their bus left him, and he said, oh, you know what? Well, I'll drive you to Tulsa. So we get in this man's car. Don't know him, he could have killed us. But we get in this man's car, and he drives us to Tulsa, Oklahoma, because that was the next stop. And the bus, of course, the bus is gone. Like, we didn't catch it. So he drives us back to the mart, and the lady's like, ma'am, she said, we will pay for you to stay in the hotel across the street. My mom's like, it's fine, I have money, you know, we'll just catch the next one that comes through in the morning. So that's what we did. And after my mom, you know, she got sick of living in Los Angeles after about 8 months, so we came back to Philly, you know, all that for nothing. In our new apartment, we got a postcard from the lady who worked at the mart. I don't know how she found us. I don't know if my mom's address was on Google or what, but she found us and sent us a little postcard that said, God bless you. And it was very nice.
Names again, please.
Layla Khatib.
Bernard Gazaras.
Thank you.